Now we're going to read Curious George Says Thank You. Oh, look at George there. What's he busy working on? Oh, this is going to be a great book. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today George received a surprise in the mail. It looks like you got a card, George, said the man with the yellow hat. Oh, look, you can read his name there. It says George. I wonder what he got in the mail. It was a thank you card from George's neighbor, Betsy. I'll read it here. It says, Dear George, thank you so much for the birthday present. I'm putting the stickers you gave me on everything, even this card. Oh, she did. She put them all over the card. Sincerely, Betsy. Oh, what a great card to get. Well, the card made George smile. It also made him curious. Who could he give a thank you card to? George thought and thought. Boy, that would be great to give someone a card like that. You could tell how happy it made George. He wanted to make somebody else happy like that. Let's see what he came up with. Well, as he was thinking, he thought he could send one to the Science Museum director, Dr. Lee, who had shown George her favorite collection of dinosaur fossils. Of course, there was the librarian who helped him pick out books. The store clerk at the market always saved the best bananas for him. Oh, that's great. And his friend Bill let George fly his kite in the park. George had so many people to thank. Look at all the cards here. He had to get started right away. First, he gathered the paper, envelopes, crayons, and stickers. Then he got to work. Oh boy, he's got lots of cards to make. Well, the man with the yellow hat walked in to find George covered from head to toe. Oh, look at his face. He said, Uh-oh, George, what are you doing? George is working so hard. Look, he's got stickers all over him and the desk and everything. Well, George held up Betsy's thank you card and pointed to the papers all scattered around him. Oh, I see, George, said his friend. You're making your own thank you cards. What a nice idea. Would you like some help? Well, that's great. Maybe he can get some help with putting them. That's a lot of cards he's got to put together. So the man wrote while George decorated. That's great. He's writing thank you right there on the card. And George has got his stickers. That's a great way to make it be done quicker. Well, George was having so much fun that they even made a stack of extra cards. We can hand deliver these tomorrow. Everyone will be happy to see you, George, said the man with the yellow hat. Well, their first stop was the Science Museum. George, it's so good to see you, said Dr. Lee. What a lovely card. Look, he's given her that great card. Ooh, he's got a whole bag full of cards. I'm going to hang it in my office right now, said Dr. Lee. That's great. You can tell how happy she was to get the thank you card from George. Next, they stopped at the library. What a great card, the librarian said. I'm going to set it here on my desk. Oh, she's going to put it right up there where everyone can see it. George, we have some new books in the children's sections that you might like if you have time. George looked at his friend. It's all right, the man said. I will go get a book for myself. Oh, so George is going to go check out the books in the children's section. Well, George noticed that there was a mail carrier leaving the library. I guess he looked through the window and saw her outside. She was the one who had brought George his thank you card from Betsy in the first place. He wanted to give her one of his cards too. Yeah, he was glad that she gave him that card from Betsy because that's what led him to do all these cards. Well, so George hurried out the door. Could he catch her in time? Oh, let's see. Oh, there's George rushing after her now. Well, George jumped up and down on the steps, waving the card. But a group of children were just getting off the bus. Oh, she's on the other side of the bus. George couldn't see which way the mail carrier had gone. But oh, there was a street light nearby. George was curious. Maybe if he climbed the street light, he could then see where the mail carrier was going. Something that only a monkey could do. Uh-oh. George started to climb the street light as fast as only a monkey can, but when he was halfway up the pole, his bag full of all of his, oh my goodness, all the thank you cards, they all slipped off. In an instant, all of George's thank you cards went whirling through the air. Oh no! How would George deliver his cards now? Poor George, what's he gonna do? George slid down the pole and he grabbed at the cards swirling around him. A boy looked up. Hey, it's snowing mail. That's funny. A little girl said, Don't worry, little monkey. We'll help you pick up your cards. Oh, I wonder if it was this little girl who said that. That's so nice. So they're going to help him pick up all his cards. Well, the children gathered up the cards. George was very grateful for their help. He was also grateful that he had brought extra cards, and he decided to give them all to the children. Oh, he gave the special thank you cards, the extra ones he had, to the children for helping him pick up all his other cards. These cards are so nice, said the teacher. The teacher got to see the cards too. All right, so now he's got his cards back. Well, the man with the yellow hat came hurrying down the steps. George, I didn't see you leave. It looks like you've had quite an adventure out here. The man thanked the teacher and his students for helping George. Well, let's finish delivering those thank you cards, said the man. George and his friends stopped by the market and the park, and then they headed home. So I guess they delivered all their thank you cards. George felt a little sad that he hadn't caught up with the mail carrier, but wait! Look, just as they were coming up to George's house, there she was. George proudly gave her a thank you card. Wow, George, said the mail carrier, I'm usually the one delivering the cards. Look, he gave her a card, but she's used to being the one that's delivering cards. This is sure a treat, she said. George waved goodbye, and he and the man went into their house. But George had one more very special thank you card to deliver. Look at that card. Is that a yellow card? Looks like a hat. He had saved the best card for last. Oh boy, he had made a special card for the man with the yellow hat. That's great, George. What a wonderful story. The end.